I have 25 plus pairs of headphones. And right now the headphones that I'm reaching towards most often would either be the MIFO 05 Plus, the JB Firefly 2, or the Awei T19. If you guys want to know why I think this is one of the best deals under $50 you can get right now on a pair of true wireless headphones, stick around. In full disclosure, these headphones were sent to me free of charge. I'm not sure if they were sent to me from Awei or who sent them to me, to be honest with you guys, but they showed up at my doorstep to review. Now, on paper, these headphones seem like they cover a lot of the basic requirements for what a good experience should be with true wireless headphones. Just to run down some of the features and specs really quick. They offer a true and seamless mono mode, which in my experience has been great. The connection between them has also been great. They offer some type of CVC clear voice capture, and I will play a clip for you guys right now.
Hey guys, so as I'm recording audio for this on the Awei T19, showing you guys a little bit of my neighborhood if you want. One thing that I wanted to mention that I forgot in the other A-roll talking upstairs was that these actually feature a gaming mode. Now, there's nothing in the user manual that mentions this. There's nothing on the box or retail packaging that does. It mentions that they're good for gaming on the AliExpress page, but it doesn't mention any particular gaming mode.
And as you guys could hear, on a street with some mild traffic, it was totally acceptable. It is worth noting that I did use these on an hour-long video call the other day, and the person heard me totally fine, which is nice, especially with the form factor for them. Battery life for these, you're looking at charging these once a month. They have a 2800 milliamp hour battery in the case. You can actually use the case as a power bank for your cell phone, and it would actually charge up my K20 Pro 50% of the way if I needed to go out. It's a 2800 milliamp hour battery. It charges via micro USB, which I don't like. But because you're charging it once a month for most people, it's not that big of a deal. As I've said on the MIFO 05 Plus, micro USB as a charging standard, it's not that I absolutely hate it if I have to use it once a month or like infrequently. I don't want to have to carry a micro USB cable around with me. And with the battery life of these, I could go on a week-long vacation and not need to bring a micro USB cable because the battery life of them is so good. With the headphones alone, you're looking at 4.5 to 5 hours depending upon how loud you listen to them. And it is worth noting that with this pair of headphones, you're gonna wanna be listening to them a lot. The playback for video is actually really, really quick. For watching YouTube videos, I had no issues with like latency. For PUBG, it introduces more latency, obviously, and the fact that there is latency is made worse because you're playing a game. And I'll have a gaming test for you guys right now. Are going to be substantially different, but we do know that a couple of the key internal components are going to be as follows. LPDDR5 RAM, which is supposed to be significantly more energy efficient RAM. UFS 3. Now, of course, this is going to come with a price. The Mi 10 is going to be the first flagship. As you guys could see, the gaming performance for them was totally acceptable. If you're not a hardcore gamer, I think that this is a decent option for like the average consumer. Now at this point, all of this stuff doesn't really mean much if they don't sound good. And these things sound really good. When you get the right size ear tips, they fit really flush inside of your ear. The bass is really, really warm. And this is a little bit of like a smiley shape curve where the mids are a little bit recessed. The highs are a little bit more like to the forefront, as well as the bass. It's not to say that it lacks definition, but if you're someone that likes to listen to like electronic music or hip hop music, if you would generally consider yourself a bit of a bass head, these headphones are awesome. And I would say that the sound signature for these headphones is not super cramped and super small. I would say this is kind of like a mid-size club kind of venue in regards to feel, where the lower end, when it is really pushed up for electronic music, does hit you with a nice thump, but it's not so overwhelming that you can't hear everything else. I think that for a $35 pair of headphones, these things sound really, really good. And I think that these are an excellent competitor to the Haylou GT1 Plus and the tronsmart Spunky Beats. If this video gets 100 likes, I will compare it to either of those. If it gets 200 likes, I will compare it to both of those. Now, all of these things in regards to sound quality, the case experience, the charging experience, the latency, all of these things would not matter if the controls sucked. And if you guys want to know why the controls are so important, I'll link up to my first impression of the tronsmart Spunky Beats, which I had a terrible first experience with, link up here. The controls for these are absolutely phenomenal. You can control everything. The shape of the headphone allows you to touch and move the headphone without actually changing the position of the headphone in your ear, which is something that the tronsmart Spunky Beats don't have. And the actual shape of the touchpad for these headphones really allows for a lot of control really easily. There's a defined area to touch. You can touch the area around it without like accidentally activating it. And it makes them just a real convenient pleasure to use. It's worth noting, at the beginning I said that I either pick up these, my JB Firefly 2s, or the MIFO 05 Plus. It is worth saying that these are the only touch controls out of all of those three headphones, and I think that the touch controls on this are better than the other two headphones I mentioned. Both of those headphones are double the cost of these. So I think that this $35 pair of headphones has a better user input experience than $100 headphones. And in this way, it kind of makes these headphones a bit of a premium headphone killer, I guess you could say, because the controls are so intuitive and they're so easy to use. I think that if you're coming from a pair of headphones like the Haylou GT1s, if you currently have a pair of Redmi AirDots, this pair of headphones is the logical step forward in regards to where you should be upgrading. What I mean by that is if you are coming from a lower end pair of headphones without a full set of controls or without a design that allows for you to interface with those controls, using these headphones is going to feel more premium because of how easy and seamless the user interface experience with them is. I don't know how else to explain this without comparing it to another pair of headphones or making it seem like I am bashing another pair of headphones, but the input user experience with these headphones is much more premium than its price point. And I think that if you are looking to give headphones to someone as a gift, the way that you interact with these makes them feel much more expensive than they actually are. Whereas when I am using something like the Haylou GT1 Plus, where I have to find the touch area because it's not defined in the design of the headphone, it makes them feel cheap and finicky. When I'm using something like the tronsmart Spunky, actually these were just terrible. If I'm using something like the Haylou GT2 that have the button controls, well, having the touch panel means that I need to put less force and change the position in them in my ears less. So as the overall package comes together, these headphones I think are the best user experience you are going to find under under $100 if we're talking about the actual user controls. I think that without a budget, these headphones might be the best user controls you can find. I would just like to end this video on something that I've continued to preach about and continue to talk about. Sound quality and latency are absolutely worthless if the experience of interfacing with a pair of headphones is buggy, is lugubrious, and is inconvenient. So for everyone that's going to compare these to other headphones that have the Qualcomm 3020 chipset, these headphones have a microphone that sounds acceptable, they have a YouTube latency that is totally acceptable, and the sound quality is as good or better than those other options. And that's why right now these are some of my favorite. These are also on my list for some of the best headphones of 2020, and we will have a link to that video up right here. Till next time, you guys should keep up with me on social media. Links to buy these in the description down below.